Well, hello there. I want to talk to you today about the DJI Neo. This is a tiny autonomous drone. Anybody can buy a drone, but what you need to have is on the side there. I don't know if you can see it. I've actually stuck on my operator ID. This is a legal requirement, and if you're going to fly this thing, you need. You don't have to be the owner, but if yes. That's right. You don't have to be the owner to fly this, but you need an operator ID, just so in case anything happens.
To take off. Aircraft in motion.
Oh, what happened there? I must have pressed something. Anyway, so this little tiny drone is autonomous, and it comes with 3 batteries and a repair kit and stuff like that. So what you've got to do is, the first thing you have to do is really to connect it to your phone. Or your iPad or whatever that you're going to use, and update the system. It needs to be updated straight away. Do it with the 3 batteries, because the update, some of the circuitry is in the battery, so you do need to update the batteries as well. So using all your 3 batteries, you should really update them. But you don't need the phone. You don't need the phone to fly it. You can just press a simple button on there and it will take off and hover, or it will do an orbit, or it will rocket up, as they call it, or you can get it to follow you, or you can get it to do what they call a droney, which is in front of you, or you can get it to track you on the side. So if you're walking along, it can be looking at you as it flies along. But yeah, you can do all of that autonomously, or you can set it up on your phone. Now I've got this set to manual fly, and I'll demonstrate that in a minute. So I'm going to press on there. I'm going to press manual fly, and then I'm going to press this takeoff button, and it's going to take off. So once it's taken off, I'll start. I'll let the drone do the rest of the photography. It's not so much as a drone, as more as a flying camera. It's really quite amazing. Okay, the picture quality isn't quite so good on this tiny little thing here, but I'm pretty sure in the future that there will be 4K drones available, so that you so you can get some decent pictures. So I'm going to let me just go back. Yeah, no, go fly. So I'm in manual control. I'm going to press the takeoff and fly button, and then I'm going to let the camera on the drone take over the footage. So here we go. It's just pressing the takeoff now. So I'm taking off.
Take off.
So there we go. I'm going to come down a little bit. So there you go. That's pointing almost towards me. So I'm just going to rotate it around a little bit. Look, wrong way. There we go. So I'm just pointing it at me as I'm sat in my garden recording. It should take out the sound of the drone. So the recording won't have all the noise that I can hear. So I just turned around my little camera here. There's the drone. You can see the drone in the distance, and of course you can hear all the drone noise. So we'll just stop this camera. There's the drone. You can see the drone in the distance, and of course you can hear all the drone noise. So we'll just stop this camera. But it really is quite noisy. So the intelligent part is using your phone to do the recording, so that it actually takes out the drone noise. So it's of course, as it's pointing towards you, all the controls are backwards. So if I press the right button, it will go left to me because it's facing the wrong way. I'll go back the other way. Of course, being a helicopter pilot, like I was for many years, flying towards me is it's second nature, really. So if I move the rudder, it will start to rotate round. And of course, the further you move the rudder, the quicker it will move. So let's bring that back up and point it towards me. But otherwise, if I wasn't using this in manual mode, I could set this into automatic mode and it will fly off for a certain distance that you programmed into it. So that's quite good. It will do an orbit around yourself. You set the distance to say 6 meters and it will do an orbit with a 6 meter radius, which I think is quite funny. So we'll bring it back in and we'll come back onto the main camera. So I'm just going to press forward to bring it towards me. Going to hold out my hand and it's landed. Now, there are some laws about flying a drone. And of course, once you get your operator ID from the CAA, you'll go through a course and ask you questionnaires. It's a simple multiple choice questionnaire, and it's really simple, but it does make you read the manual, and you have to really appreciate some of the drone laws. But with a small drone like this, it only weighs somewhere in the region of about 133 grams, which is way below the next level. The next level is the 250 drones and above. Anything below 250, you can fly anywhere you like. You can fly over buildings, you can fly over people, but not groups of people. This is just individuals, people. You can fly over them as long as you don't stop and hover over their heads, you'll be fine. And there is no expectation of privacy in public, except in your own house. You shouldn't really fly and hover outside somebody's window, a bedroom window in particular, and look in. That there is an expectation of privacy in your bedroom, so I wouldn't do that. But flying over somebody's house, if they're sat naked in the garden, that's up to them. They're out in public, and it's But I wouldn't. If you do see someone laying naked in the garden, I wouldn't hover over them for too long. I would just fly straight over, because that would then be classed as incidental inclusion, and I wouldn't worry about it too much. But if you stick to areas in the public, as long as you're not flying or taking off from somebody's private land, you should be good to go. You don't need permission to fly over private property, because you don't own the airspace. Nobody owns the airspace. The CAA control the airspace. So this is why you're allowed to fly over private property, because if you can see it with your eyes, you can film it as well with a camera. Anyway, so that's it. This is the tiny little DJI Neo. It's really quite there's the name there. It's really quite a brilliant thing. You can actually put different lenses on if you need to. You can put your neutral density lenses on and take some pictures in bright sunlight, and go for the cinematic images that you get with a neutral density filter. One of the things you shouldn't really do with one of these things is to fly over water or a surface that's just says completely black surface. It won't know its distance above, because this thing's got no collision avoidance. It weighs virtually nothing, so if it does bump into you, it won't do any harm, because all the propellers are shielded, and like I say, it doesn't fly that fast, and it doesn't weigh. It's less than a can of Coke. A can of Coke was 300 grams, and this is 133, so it's really, really light. Anyway, it doesn't cost that much either. This costs about £165, something like that, and of course you can then you don't have to get extra batteries, but I would recommend getting extra batteries simply because the flying time's about between 11 and 18 minutes. I'm not quite sure. It all depends on the wind, I suppose, if it's having to correct itself. Because it will stay in one position. If the wind blows, it will struggle to stay in one spot. Anyway, so that's it. That's my little camera, flying selfie stick, as it were. Anyway, I'll catch you all on the next one. See ya.